issue that might,
Just basically, if there's any ice around the outdoor unit, if the fan's running outside, a lot of times, the outdoor unit's pretty much all they're gonna be able to see. Chances are you're not gonna get a tenant to go into the attic or in the crawl space to check and see if there's power to the air handler or furnace.
yeah.
So if they can see that the outdoor unit is not running, it could be, several different things causing it. Could be the capacitor, the contactor, could be fuses in the disconnect box. Could be several different things causing that unit not to run. So it's just a matter of getting out there and going through it and figuring out what's going on with it.
Plus, if there's ice outside, we need to tell them to turn it off so it can thaw out before you
Correct,
get there.
yes.
Yeah,
That
probably, and
helps.
it's a good 3 hours probably when you say before you can get that thing melted down, before they can even
Right, because if
put any
there's,
gauges on it.
normally if they can see ice at the outdoor unit, the indoor evaporator coil is probably a solid block of ice at that point.
That's during the summertime as well.
Yeah, during the summertime.
So what is included in an annual HVAC maintenance?
We'll go out, we'll check all your electrical connections, check the condition of the contactor, making sure we're getting proper voltage, making sure the compressor, the fan motors are within their amp draw limits or the data tag on the units. We will check the coils. If they need to be cleaned, we will clean either the indoor and outdoor or both coils. Inspect the blower motor and blower wheel.
Do you check Freon?
And we do check Freon to make sure the pressures are right. 9 times out of 10, we can tell if the Freon levels are right by what temperatures we're getting inside the house. The less we open up a system and put our gauges on it to check the Freon levels, the better off we are. Because it's one of those type things that if it's not broke, don't mess with it. So we check temperatures, and our temperatures are within fairly close to 20 degrees from the return air coming in and the supply air blowing out. Then we know our Freon is pretty much right on where it's supposed to be. So we won't, if we don't have to, we try not to open the system up to expose it to air and moisture to get in and mix with the Freon.
Is 20 degrees between outside temp and inside temp?
It would be 20
With
degrees.
any kind of system? I mean,
Yeah.
is it just?
That's more of a heat pump, outside temperature, and so.
Well, the way we do it is the air that's actually in the house, the indoor ambient temperature, what is pulling in through the return vent and blowing out through the supply registers throughout the house.
Okay,
We try to get 20 degrees.
okay.
And the heat, depending on the heat pump, we try to get 20 degrees in cool and heat. But the gas furnace, we're probably looking at somewhere to 100, 110. So the gas furnace is, is going to be much more efficient, much more warmer air than a heat pump.
Okay. So say we've got 97-degree temperatures coming up this weekend. If someone calls in and says, my AC's not working because my AC won't go below, 77 degrees. I mean, that's your 20-degree swing. Is it reasonable?
What we do it is 20 degrees inside the house.
Yeah, but
The
that's what I'm
outdoor
saying.
temperature-
If they call in and say my AC's not working at 77 degrees and it won't cool down any more than that, is it reasonable to expect it should cool more than that, or is that the best they can expect given the outside temperature?
There's actually a lot that has to go in with that. It's the condition of the house, how insulated the house is, how much shade is on the house.
Okay.
There's different things that will take those temperatures and mess them, do
Okay.
different deals with
I've
them.
just heard that 20 degrees as that magic number. That if it's 97, the best you can do is 77 inside. And
Well,
that's-
as the air conditioner's running and that your house is reading 77 and it's blowing out 57-degree air, that temperature should eventually come down.
Okay.
I mean, if your return temperature is at 77, your supply is at 57. If your return goes down to 70, then your supply should go down to 50.
Okay.
So if somebody just comes in, if they turn it off and then come home after a day, 8 hours of being gone on a hot day, it's gonna, that 20 degrees is probably gonna be pretty close to all they can expect until the air in the house starts to cool down.
Correct, right. So if they leave the house and they come back and it's 86 degrees, they're only getting actually about 60, 66, 65 degrees out of the vent, which feels cool when you come in from 95 degrees, but it's,
Wow.
if they could keep it maintained, the house maintained at say 75 when they're not home, and they want it 72 when they come in, that system has to work that much less to get it to where they're comfortable.
So do you recommend people leave the AC on when they're not there, so
Yes.
it doesn't tax the system on
Yes.
and off and on?
But the worst thing you can do is turn one on and off and on and off and on and
Actually,
off.
cycling, that's probably the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
A steady running AC will be more efficient than one that, kicks on and on and off.
Can I have that in writing, please? We have an ongoing argument at my house.